What's up guys, it's Boss here and I'm back with another YouTube video, and I'm really excited about this video because it's going to be something a little different. I'm going to do a deck guide on my favorite giant Edrag deck. You guys know I use this deck a lot. It's giant Edrag, minor, triple spell, Prince Mega Minion. I finished 37th with it last season, so I know the ins and outs of the deck pretty well, and I've been using it probably like almost a year now. Ever since the Edrag came out is basically when I started using this deck, and I'm at 68-26 right now, almost top 300. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be playing live ladder games till we hit 7K, so you guys get to see multiple different matchups, and I'll explain my thought process during the game, and anything I want to add after the game, I'll explain as well. So it's going to be probably about an hour-long video, I would say. The reason why it's that long is because I want to throw in the most matchups possible so you guys can learn the deck more, and since we're pretty high up, I made sure to push up before recording this. Since we're almost top 300 right now, and we're pushing to 7K, we're going to see the most, basically, meta decks, because we're pretty high up, so there probably won't be any, like, weird or, like, wacky decks that you would normally see, maybe even in the top 1,000. But we found our first game, so the biggest tip I want to give you guys is you never want to like giant in the back first play the game. So some people do that. That's this specific giant deck. That's something you never want to do, because if you're versing Pekka, you'll get punished like pretty hard. Or some other decks, like maybe you're versing Xbow and then they can just Xbow at the bridge. You never really want to do that until you know what the other person's playing. So this guy has Baby Dragon, Zap, so that doesn't really tell me much about his deck. Let's go ahead and okay, so he has Valkyrie. This is an example of when it's pretty safe to giant in the back, because they played a 4 elixir card in the back, and also he revealed he had a Baby Dragon, so that doesn't really mean that it's going to be a Pekka deck. It doesn't mean that it's going to be anything where, like, it would be too risky for new giant in the back. And notice I have Log in rotation, so if he decided to go in, like, with a Graveyard or something other lane, he wouldn't have been able to really do anything. So Edrag should reset that, Inferno Drag. It resetted it once, unfortunately. After that, it like went out of range. So yeah, this is a Lava Hound deck, guys, and this is why I love having Edrag in the deck. So a lot of you guys ask why do I like having Edrag in the deck? So the reason why is, this is one example. When you're versing Lava Hound, or, well, there's lots of different decks. Lava Hound, Pekka, Golem are all easier with the Edrag. So right here we kind of had a rocky start, but we can for sure come back. So what I'm going to do is start up a push other lane. You want to go opposite lane of where they have the most damage, typically when you're versing Lava Hound. And we could come back, potentially. Like, we're not even down by that much. We just kind of had a little bit of an unlucky start. And he goes in with an Inferno Drag, so right here we can just play an Edrag right on top of it. I'm actually not entirely sure why he played an Inferno Drag at the bridge, because we could easily Edrag. And now we can just log the guards, clean those up pretty easily. And that Baby Dragon's targeted on the Giant, so that Prince is still alive. I should charge on his tower. Oh no, he played a Mire just in the nick of time. Well played. The Prince gets a hit though. And now, guys, we should have this tower. What we can do now is Giant in this lane, play defense for the rest of the game. So now we're in a really good situation. When you're versing Lava Hound, you saw what I did there. Going opposite lane's the key, because we forced him to defend in the lane where he had no damage in. And that kind of put him in an awkward spot. So let's Inferno Drag here. I don't want to do it next to the Lava Hound, because then it would give, like, a spell that he has too much value. So unfortunately, he does play a Baby Drag on it. Pretty well played on his part. Do we catch his Miner? We do. He goes in with another Lava Hound. Wow, so this might be kind of difficult to defend. But the good thing is there's only, what, 10 seconds left. And a Lava Hound, as you guys know, doesn't do much damage. 8 seconds. Do we defend in time? Let's Prince to tank here. 4 seconds, 2, 1. Oh my god, guys, that was such a close game. Wow. So that's basically, guys, how I generally play against Lava Hound decks. Pretty much what you saw there. I don't know what I want to add on, but I will say lots of Lava Hound decks are different. Like, there's Lava Hound Barbarians, there's Lava Clone, but the Edrag is always going to be the main reason why you end up winning the game. It gets so much value in this against this deck, against the Inferno Drag, and then if you're versing the Lava Clone against the Lava Clone. So this is a perfect example of why I love having the Edrag in the deck against Lava Hound, against Pekka. There's lots of different, like, good things about having the Edrag in the deck. So where we are right now, so now we're top 300. Let's go ahead and get into another game. Hopefully we get a different matchup, and we'll play our best when we find a game. Not sure exactly what I want to do. I'm thinking I'm gonna include losses in this video, especially if I felt like if I lost a game I played pretty well and I gave a lot of good detail of how you should play the matchup. And obviously there are going to be losses in the deck because I don't think I'm going to win every single game to 7k. And also I think having losses honestly in a deck guide might even be a good thing, because then I honestly feel like you learn the most from your losses, because there's almost always something noticeable that you did wrong in a loss, because in almost every single circumstance, if you lost a game, you did something wrong. Even if it was the smallest thing, there's something wrong that you did to lose. Even if it was a tough matchup, there's usually always something. So right here we have Giant, Prince, Mega Minion, Edrag in our starting hand. So if he doesn't do anything, we can cycle a Mega Minion in the back. I don't feel comfortable cycling any of my 5 Elixir cards in the back. That's obviously too risky. So let's just cycle a Mega Minion and then see what he has. So he has a Miner. In this situation, I'm going to Giant because I kind of have an awkward cycle right now. And also, he just invested 3 Elixir into the other lane. So it's not really going to be that risky to go in with a Giant. And right there, he spent 7 Elixir. So let's just zap the Ice Wizard. And I'm thinking about what I want to do. I'm actually going to cycle a Miner in the back. I didn't want to leak Elixir. I wasn't sure what to do. And the reason why I cycled it in the back was to get ready to defend the Ice Wizard. So he goes in with an RG. He's getting a lot of damage. I would like to go in with a Giant, if possible, in front of the Prince. Do I get it down? Oh my god, guys. I made a little bit of a mistake there. Does the Giant end up going in front, though? It does, so now the tower's hitting that. Misclick Tesla on his part, and we're going to be getting a lot of damage. And he has NATO as well. Okay, wow. So he has a lot of answers to... Since he just NATO'd, we can Miner in the back. So kind of a tough start, guys. But at least now we know what his deck is, so there's no more surprises. He has Tesla, NATO, Skarmy, so kind of an interesting deck, but it's still an RG deck, so it'll still generally help you guys, you know, learn how to play against RG. So RG is the type of matchup where you're never really going to be able to stop the RG without it getting a hit, unless they RG in the back. And the reason why is just because you have the Prince Mega Minion. You would need to play the Prince Mega Minion, log everything you have on it to prevent it from getting a hit, and that's in lots of cases really hard to do. So let's zap on that, and then he does go with his RG in the back, so that's a good thing because more likely than not, it probably won't get a hit on our tower now since we have time to kill it. And yeah, so he didn't get any damage at all with the RG, which was good. I'm going to send a Miner here in the safe spot because I don't want him to activate King. And then I'm going to go with another Giant here, like apply pressure. And, okay, he goes with a NATO. We can zap his Skarmy. And let's go with the Fireball on top of the Ice Wizard, and then let's go ahead and log. An interesting Tesla. I'm not sure why he did that because the Giant's all the way up there. Does it get another hit? Yes, it does. So 17 seconds, 15. I think maybe he did that is, yeah, I was going to say, because when he goes with an RG, he might want to have, like, his Tesla helping. But we played that out range of the Tesla, and unless that RG gets, like, another hit. Oh, my God, it got another hit. Are you kidding me? Guys, the RG gets, like, that other extra hit when you don't expect it to. Anyways, guys, I'm not too sure if there's much I could say on that game. That was honestly, like, a really off-meta deck. We're almost top 200 now. Yeah, that was kind of a crazy deck, guys. I'm not sure what to say about that game, but I guess when you're versing RG, you always want to counter push off of their RG. So if you saw in that game, every single time he played an RG is basically right after is when I ended up getting all my damage. Whether that being because he was low on Elixir, or because he had an awkward cycle, or just because I had all my support cards from the RG pairing with the Giant and it just kind of overwhelmed him. But yeah, I think that was still like a great game because I don't think that was an easy matchup for us. I mean, RG generally is tough for me to beat, and also he had Tesla, Skarmy that gets value against the Prince. But yeah, very interesting deck. So that might be our most off-meta game this whole video because now we're pushing higher and higher up. And like I said, we are probably going to lose a game eventually getting to 7k. I highly doubt we're gonna get to 7k like flawlessly. So if I lose, I think that's the best time to like provide the main tips or explain my reasoning to why I lost or the mistakes I made, and that might be the most helpful for you guys. Excuse me. So hopefully we find a game here soon. All right, here we go. So okay, we're playing this guy. If you guys didn't know, I think this is the guy who runs Balloon Inferno. He's known for running a weird like Balloon Inferno deck, so this is going to be kind of difficult. I think he has Giant Skeleton. So if he doesn't do anything, let's just send a Miner to start the game off. And he goes with a Giant Skeleton, so yeah, it looks like he is running his deck. So it's Giant Skeleton, Balloon Inferno. The reason why I know this is because he's been on like CWA. He's known for using this like crazy deck. Excuse me, guys. I think I have like some allergies or something. My nose is very itchy for some reason. All right. Let's Mega Minion on top of his Miner, and yeah, as I said, he has a whack deck, guys. It has Baby Dragon, Inferno. It might not be insanely off meta, but it's definitely just not something you would verse every game for sure. So I'm not going to log, and the reason why is because the Edrag is going to take care of all of that. Let's go ahead and Giant, because I know that he's probably... Oh, wow, he's using Tesla, so he put in Tesla instead of Inferno. That's probably because the Inferno got a nerf. Okay, and he goes with the Giant Skeleton, so our Miner's going to get a lot of chip, and he goes in with the NATO. So something I would suggest doing, guys, is if you're reversing Giant Skeleton and your only counter to the Giant Skeleton is the Prince, play the Prince behind the Giant Skeleton, not in front, so then it doesn't get hit by the bomb, because then they have to respond to the... Yeah, like, there we go, he had to play a Miner to make sure it stayed in the bomb. So let's just Mega Minion on top of his Miner. We always need to make sure we have an air counter in cycles, so we have an Edrag, excuse me. So if he goes in with a Balloon, we're going to have something. And he just goes with a Goblin Gang. I think he kind of misclicked it because the Mega Minion ended up getting a hit. It's Giant in the back. We have Edrag if he goes for a Balloon, and there's the Balloon. So that's a 5-for-5 trade. The Edrag won't get a hit unless... or the Balloon won't get a hit, excuse me, unless he zaps. Which he didn't, so we could stop that. Let's go ahead and try to, like, build a push. He's probably just going to Giant Skeleton, though, which is kind of annoying. Mega Minion, though, maybe Zap as well, because he has a Goblin Gang. The Zap doesn't really, like, do much. Like, we don't really need to worry about having our Zap out of cycle for anything. So right here, let's just Fireball his Balloon. It's a great... That's why I love having the Fireball in the deck. Those of you who ask, like, why Fireball over Poison, that's one of the biggest reasons. Pushback against the Balloon, instant kill on Minion Horde and stuff. And there's also a few different reasons. But yeah, those are, like, the main ones. It's definitely the pushback on the Balloon is why I enjoy it the most. So he's going with a Miner. He goes in with a Balloon. And this is kind of unfortunate, guys. We're going to definitely need to Fireball the Balloon if we can get it down in time. The Baby Dragon was kind of pushing the Balloon, so it went to my tower. It's Mega Minion on his Baby Dragon. Oof. Yeah, this is not looking good at all, guys. Okay, we do catch his Miner. Let's Giant here. Let's, like, do our best, but honestly, guys, I think there's no way we're stopping that Balloon from getting a hit. Yeah. That's a good game for sure, guys. Kind of unfortunate. Definitely not an easy matchup, though, because he has the Giant Skeleton and the Tesla, I think, what makes it the most difficult. But I still think, guys, there's a few different things I could have done differently. Maybe I should have been a little bit more defensive. Maybe I should have played more Giants in the back. I think I should have saved more of my air counters, like, because the Edrag does counter air, but when they have, like, a Miner, when they have a Baby Dragon and stuff, too, but honestly, that was a really well-played Baby Dragon, pushing the Balloon on my tower. So, I think the main thing about that game to take away of what I could have done differently is just probably being more defensive, and just maybe more Giants in the back. But what was really tough is his Giant Skeleton. It was really hard going, like, building a push into that. What I possibly could have done is, like, if he played a Giant Skeleton, just go opposite lane with try to cycle back to another Giant and other stuff like that. But Yeah, that was really tough. I'm not too sure what else I could have really done differently. I think that it was just like a really, really hard game to win because of the giant skeleton and the Tesla and also the NATO. He just had like a lot of answers to our giant and our pushes because the giant skeleton's bomb kills like the Edrag, it kills the Mega Minion when it dies, and also almost the Prince, the whole Prince. So that can be a little difficult, but that's kind of an off meta deck that you're not going to verse too frequently. So let's try to find another game. Hopefully it's a deck that's more meta. Like, I hope we verse in this video a Golem deck and a Pekka deck to teach you guys how to beat that. That would be probably the most helpful for you guys. And I'm sure we are going to verse a Pekka or a Golem, probably both most likely, because they're kind of in the, like, used a good amount in the meta right now. Alright, so we found another game. We're versing Daniel. So in this starting hand, you can either cycle a Zap or a Miner, kind of your choice. I prefer cycling a Miner. Yeah, like, so Miner in the safe spot, because, like, he's, like, more likely than not, if they don't do anything, it's usually, like, an expensive deck. But they might just not be. Okay, so he goes with a Lava Hound. So this is kind of bad that we didn't have a Giant in cycle, so we're going to need to be really aggressive other lane. And he goes in with a Minion Horde. Let's just Fireball that. And he has guards as well. Ooh, so this is kind of an unlucky start. Hopefully what we can do is kind of come back and double. Kind of weird that he went with like his Lava Hound right away. So we versed a Lava Hound deck first game in the video, but this one's a little different. This is Lava Hound double minions. So yeah, kind of a unlucky start. Like, I'm not really too sure why he went with the Lava Hound, like, at the bridge at the beginning of the game. That, in my opinion, seems a little, like, aggressive, but it ended up working out for him, so that kind of sucks. And he, again, went in, like, really aggressive. I'm going to do kind of what he's doing and going aggressive, because I don't think he's cycled back to guards, so I'm not sure what... okay, now he is, but does he have the elixir to play them? No, he didn't right away. Let's send in a Miner immediately, and then let's just log the guards, just to try to take his tower here. And yeah, we are going to get his tower for sure. Maybe the log wasn't necessary, but I wanted to cycle and also kind of get rid of the guards so they didn't get any more chip on my tower. But yeah, we're still in kind of a bad situation. But at least right here, we can now Fireball the Balloon and the Miner, so that's actually kind of a positive trade for us. I think we got 1 elixir from that, and does the Balloon even get death damage? Ooh, it does, unfortunately. That would have been perfect if the Balloon didn't get any death damage. So we need to try to go opposite lane here. I think that's our best chance of winning, and what's a good thing to note is I don't think he has a big spell, because he probably would have used it already if he had one, so, like, I'm not sure if he has it. Yeah, he's just going to go with guards here and then a Minion Horde. So I kind of wanted to distract the Minion Horde, so I went in with a Miner there. And, oh, let's Fireball here. This is a really good Fireball. We're hitting everything, keeping the Mega Minion alive so it can take care of the Lava Hound. And he goes in with a Balloon. Luckily, though, we can just Edrag on top of that. Let's go with the Giant here, apply some pressure. He really went in aggressive there, and he's not even going to get my tower, I don't think. Let's Mega Minion. We need to try to get our Giant a lot of damage here. Let's Zap. Does the Giant get another hit? Oof. And he had arrows as well. Oh, that's going to be a good game. Wow, guys. That was on a really unlucky start for us. I think we didn't make any mistakes that game, but that's an example of really relying on trying to come back. I think I'm going to keep that in the video. Like, even though we lost, I didn't make any major mistakes at all that game, I don't think. I just really didn't expect him to play a Lava Hound at the bridge first play of the game. Like, that was a little, I felt like he was kind of, I don't know, being super aggressive. I don't know why he did, like, Lava Hound at the bridge. That was his second play. Like, he went with a Lava Hound in the back, and then, or a Mega Minion in the back, and then he went with, like, Lava Hound at the bridge, basically the second play of the game. So that was for sure really interesting. It did work out for him, unfortunately, but yeah, that was very unlucky for us. But anyways, guys, we're going to have a different matchup here. I think this might actually be Graveyard. This guy is a French Graveyard player, and you can see from his clan name, he's known to run Graveyard, so he most likely does have Graveyard. It could be something else, but that's like what my guess would be, obviously, and of course the clan name too makes me especially think that it's going to be Graveyard. So let's try to kill that Ice Wizard there. I wanted to zap just to make sure it dies. So we're just kind of getting a feel of what his deck is. And there we go. So there's the Knight, there's the Graveyard. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, like, in Graveyard, guys, this is a good example of what you want to do. You want to take a little bit of damage, because he's not even going to take my tower. So yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to let the Graveyard get a lot of damage, because he just spent 8 elixir. So now he can't really defend this. That's my best tip of advice, guys. When you verse Graveyard, honestly, just if they go in with a Knight Graveyard and single elixir, you can pretty much just, like, honestly ignore it, because you should be able to break through, and even if you don't, you get at least, like, some damage. Right here, look at that. We got our Prince Charge, and he, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, he defended that really nicely on his end. But you see, that's why I saved the log. I wanted to save the log for his Tombstone, but I didn't actually end up needing it, because I minored and didn't have enough elixir for the log. But anyways, another reason why you want, kind of Graveyard to get, like, a little bit of lead on you, and it's fine if they take their tower, is because then you have your other tower helping out. So, like, this is a perfect example. Now you have your King activated when they take your tower. So if you're playing against a Graveyard deck, like this specific Graveyard deck, they're not really going to be able to get much more damage easily after they take your tower. So let's Fireball the Tombstone. All we really need to do here is just take his tower, and I don't think it's going to be that hard to do, because we can Miner, and then if he, like, activates King here, the Giant, yeah, like, that's my point. He couldn't defend that at all. We just had too much stuff overwhelming him. So yeah, now you guys see why I let him basically take my tower. There's really just no point in defending when you're versing Graveyard. If you know you can take their tower, be safe about it, of course. Like, don't do that if you end up, like, not being able to take their tower. But I knew I could with my cycle in the situation I was in. So we need to try to log his Tombstone, or else it's going to get, like, way too much value. And look at here, guys. So we're able to break through easily. Honestly, Graveyard's a pretty easy matchup. It depends on the Graveyard deck, but this specific Graveyard deck is a very easy deck to beat. And this is generally how I play against it almost, like, every time. You, like, let them get a lot of damage. You try to just take their tower, and then you, from there, just overwhelm them, because they're not really able to defend as easily because of, because you definitely have, like, a huge matchup versus Graveyard if it's a 2-tower situation like it is here, because they just can't really ever Graveyard. You just like, play a lot of offense, and then they can't really ever get a push in. Like, he hasn't played a single offensive Graveyard since it's been this situation. So this is exactly, like, what you want to happen, and if you can't get giant hits, you at the very least want to spell cycle. Like, right here, he's giving you log value. So that's what you want to do. You basically just want to, like, eventually get to their tower and do whatever it takes. So if that means Miner Chip, if that means, like, Spell Chip, do that. And let's go with the Fireball here. Unfortunately, he didn't play his... Oh, actually, the Ice Wizard did go into the Fireball, so I think that's going to be game. We pretty much have it wrapped up here. We have 2 minutes to take his tower, and I think we can easily do that. He goes in with his first Graveyard, and this is exactly why, guys, he can't really do much, because look at that. We stopped it really easily because there's our King Tower helping out. And now let's just go for another Giant, and then we can Miner in the back, and then just log again. And right here, we should be able to break through, because his tower's at, like, and look at the Prince. Okay, we don't end up getting our, okay, but the Chain of the Edrag ends it. So that's honestly, guys, like, not too hard of a game to win. And also, once again, like, super aggressive in single elixir for my opponents. Like, I'm a little surprised he went in with a Knight Graveyard at the beginning of the game, but we were able to punish him really easily. So that's exactly what you want to do. If you're versing that type of Graveyard deck, if they get a little bit of damage, that's fine. You can either ignore it or lightly defend it with a log, and then just counter push, ended up taking their tower. And don't, like, freak out if you don't take their tower, because you can just end up breaking through after waiting for them to overcommit. Because after he went in for that first Graveyard push, we didn't get much damage, but then he did something else again. Like, he went in with a Bar Barrel Graveyard, which is, like, again, really aggressive. So then we were able to just kind of ignore that and then just break through. And honestly, the Edrag again is what really helps us in that game. You guys can honestly kind of tell why the Edrag is so much better than the Ewiz from just the last few games. Like, this one we would not have won without the Edrag, I can tell you guys that, and this one wouldn't have been close without the Edrag, like if we had the Ewiz instead. And then this one as well, like the Ewiz wouldn't have really helped at all. So honestly, the only matchups where I would say Ewiz would be slightly better in is if you're versing 2.6, the Ewiz is definitely better to have in that matchup. Or if you're versing, I would say if you're versing RG Lightning, it's probably better to have the Ewiz in the deck. But those are probably like the only two matchups. Besides that, it's always so much better to have the Edrag in the deck. It's just, it gives you your highest chance of winning certain matchups. So we've been playing about 25 minutes. So we're probably about halfway through the video. I'm just really trying to... Okay, he goes with Xbow at the bridge. First place, so I'm not sure why he did that. But guys, Xbow, especially if this is 2.9, which is what it's looking like, is a pretty easy matchup. So what you want to do is you basically want to spell cycle their tower and miner. You're not really going to get any giant damage on their tower. You're mostly getting all your damage with miners and spells. But let's go ahead and miner his tower. He obviously doesn't have like NATO, so we could play it in the front. And he goes with the Ice Spirit, so I actually think that was a bad Ice Spirit because it kind of redirected. So tips against 2.9, guys, is you... Oh my god. The Xbow sometime... okay. The Xbow somehow locked on my... Okay, guys. Might be time to freak out a little bit, but I think we're fine. It was just kind of a connection that he got. It wasn't too big of a connection. I'm not really sure how that happened. Did my giant like lag or something? I don't really like know. Let's try to zap here just to get that Prince a hit, and there we go. So now it's actually a pretty close to even game. But yeah, guys, I don't really know how that happened. So let's log to cycle. And then if he goes in with the Xbow again, we can just Mega Minion Giant. So yeah, against Xbow, you always want to... And if he plays like archers all in the same lane, you want to fireball it every time. I don't know why he did that. Okay, he goes with a defensive Xbow. So if they defensive Xbow, you can safely giant in the back. You don't usually giant in the back against 2.9, but if they defensive Xbow, it's always okay to giant in the back. And if they play an Xbow at the bridge, always remember, giant in the face of the Xbow, don't giant like in the back. Some people do that, and I'm not sure why. Because look at that, you're kind of whittling down the Xbow when you just giant in the back and it's hitting nothing. It gets like no value. So let's go with a log and zap here on top of his archers, and there we go. The miner finishes off that defensive Xbow. And look at that, now it's on his Xbow that he just played there. So yeah, he's playing this kind of interestingly in my opinion, but honestly like 2.9 is pretty easy to beat anyways. Like all you do is you just like miner the tower, and you always want to try to have giant and cycle for the Xbow, and even if you don't, you can like use a Prince or stuff, etc. Like right here, you can use a Prince to distract it, and then, yeah, we weren't able to get a giant down in time, but we had that Prince there. So we're going to need a probably Fireball here. I don't really want to, but otherwise, if we don't, like, that Xbow would have been at half health on my tower, which would have been kind of unfortunate. Let's go in with another miner here to distract that Xbow. If you guys didn't know, if you miner in that spot, it distracts the Xbow. Like, that's closer to the Xbow than the tower, so I recommend always minering in that corner. We have our Prince distracting there. Let's go with the Giant. And Giant next to the tower if they have a Tesla next to the Xbow. Otherwise, Giant on the Xbow. So we can Fireball once again the Xbow, and then let's go ahead and send a miner in the back. So things are looking really good for us, because all we need to do is if we get, like, more miner chip, and we're getting, again, like, more miner chip as I say that, like we're getting so much miner chip right now, then it's pretty easy. You like always need to remember when you verse 2.9, always have a giant down for the Xbow, spell cycle the tower that is opposite of the Xbow, and then when you get in the situation where like I'm at right now, you can basically like at the point I'm at right now, all I need to do is get one Fireball log on his tower and then Fireball again, and then I win the game. So even though the Xbow's on my tower right now, it's probably not going to take my tower in time, because what I can do is miner, zap to reset the Xbow, and then we get another giant down, or excuse me, Fireball. And there we go, we win the game. So honestly, that guy, played pretty well in my opinion, but honestly, you can easily beat 2.9 most of the time. Also, yeah, he kind of had that, like, at the beginning, I don't know what happened, but the Xbow connected on my tower, and that kind of helped him get, like, a little boost at the beginning, but we were still able to win. Like, it's honestly no problem. Like, Xbow typically isn't insanely difficult to beat or anything, but that's exactly how you play against 2.9 guys. Like, that guy was really good, and because I'm pretty high up right now, so we're playing, like, good 2.9 players, but you can always beat 2.9. It depends on the trophy level you're at, but you can beat it basically, I would say, 100% of the time if you're not, like, insanely high up or anything. But if you get, like, to top 500 or 200, you do really need to focus and make sure you're not making many mistakes, because if the Xbow player plays insanely well, the game can be intense, kind of like that one. Like, it got kind of close there at the end. Like, if I wasn't able to cycle back to a fireball in time, he would have won. But just always remember, miner in the right corner of the tower, so the Xbow distracts that, and like, zap their skeletons if they play skeletons on the miner when you have the miner on the tower, and you can pretty much almost always freely log their tower, but kind of be safe when you do it, because you need to make sure that they don't have, like, archers down or something next to their Xbow, but you can always fireball the Xbow. Like, you have a lot of different options. Just use your spells really wisely, and know when it's a good idea to miner you, and then just, yeah, as long as you always have a giant for the Xbow, you're typically fine. Giant or prince to distract. Anyways, we're one game away from top 200. Let's keep going. As I said, I'm probably going to be going for 7k, and that's when I'll be ending the video. That way you get, like, more and more matchups. And as I said, this is a full deck guide, and, like, yeah, so it's going to be a longer video. But I think a lot of you suggested this. I've talked to a lot of people, actually, who've said they would love seeing, like, a really, really long video of Giant, because they kind of, like, want to learn the deck and see a bunch of matchups. So that's what I'm going to do. This is going to be a really long video. I do hope, though, we can get 7k in a realistic time. Like, if I'm not able to get 7k in, like, maybe, I would say, maybe if we've been going for about an hour and 20 minutes or so, or like an hour and a half, then maybe I won't, like, get 7k and we'll just stop, but we'll keep going for at least an hour longer. We've already been going a half hour, and we'll see if we can get 7k by then. So, we have, okay, so he starts with the Lava Hound in the back. I was kind of going to wait and see if he did anything, and then if he didn't, I was just going to log. So when you verse Lava Hound, you always kind of want to giant in the back other lane if they go with the Lava Hound first play of the game, and it's kind of interesting that he went with Lava Hound in the back first play of the game, because when I use Lava Hound, that's not really something I would typically do. So let's go with an Inferno, an Edrag here, excuse me. And he goes with his baby drag. Zap that Inferno drag to keep the Edrag alive a little longer, and hopefully that Edrag goes out of range of the giant. It does. So now we have our, okay, let's log. That Inferno drag doesn't help out, so this is honestly, guys, gonna be probably a pretty quick game. Because look at that, he already has my tower as well. Like, so yeah, this is not looking good for me though, because he's actually dealt more damage for us. But we have the Prince distracting Lava Pups. Okay, wow, guys, this is sometimes what happens when you verse Lava Hound. The game can be really intense at the beginning. If they just Lava Hound in the back, I honestly think the best thing to do is Giant in the back other lane, almost always. Because if you Giant same lane as the Lava Hound, what happens is they sometimes have a balloon, but I don't think in this case he has balloon. Well, we have yet to see, but I don't think he does. So I'm kind of interested to see what he does here. Let's go with a Mega Minion. And if he does have balloon, we have a lot of different ways of dealing with it. We can zap that. Let's go with the Giant here, and when that Hound pops, fireball everything. And let's just ignore that baby dragon. I think we should be able to punish him here. Look at that. We had the Giant tanking for the miner, so that was really good. So I'm going to ignore that baby dragon, and hopefully here we can just overwhelm him, because he went in pretty aggressively there. Let's E-drag on top of that to stun the Inferno drag, hopefully. He goes in with a fireball, but now we can go in with our Mega Minion now after he used that fireball. Oh, wow, he went in with a zap, too. I think that zap was a bit of a misplay. I think we might be able to win right here after that, like, kind of zap, which I don't think was really that good. We're not going to win, but we are going to get, like, a lot of damage. So, wow, that was really, really nice. And he doesn't have balloons since he has minor. So what we need to do is we just need to keep applying pressure, because if he can't start up a push, we're probably going to end up overwhelming him, because he was down a lot of elixir there. Let's go with an Edrag here. It unfortunately does not stun the Infero Drag because he played a Lava Hound. But we do have Prince down, and we do have a Minor, but he caught that, so well played on his part. That Lava Hound, though, since he was kind of forced to play it on defense, that's not going to do much for him on offense. We destroy that pretty easily with our Mega Minion, so that Mega Minion got a lot of value, and it's also going to kill this baby Drag here because we can distract with a Giant. This time I'm going to... I don't want to have to... okay, so he does go in with the Lava Hound again and distracts it, but this time I zap the Inferno Drag to reset it, so now the Edrag should be able to stun the Inferno Drag, and if the Miner gets just, I think, like, one more hit, then, yep, there we go. Fireball wraps up the game. Whew, that was an intense game, so I'm sorry, guys, that I wasn't able to explain it, but as I said, any game that's intense, after the game's done, I'm going to explain it a little bit, and didn't we play that guy a little earlier? Yeah, we did. I think that was actually the first game of the video. Anyways, so we won again. What you want to do is basically what I did there. You want to go opposite lane of the Lava Hound if they Lava Hound in single elixir. And the reason why is because if you're not sure they have a balloon or not, it's always better to go other lane, because if you go same lane, what's gonna end up happening is they might they might take your tower, and then what happens is if you giant in the back same lane, let's say you play a Mega Minion or Edrag on their Lava Hound, as it's going same lane, as your giant's walking, going past your tower, your support cards are going to get separated from the giant, because your support cards are going to be distracted killing the Lava Hound. So that's why you don't want to go same lane, because your giant's going to be separated, and then your giant's going to be just a walking tank without its support cards, and it's not going to get to the tower, because in, like, this specific matchup, he is an Inferno Drag, so he can just, like, play an Inferno Drag on top of the giant, because the Edrag's separated and it's fighting the Lava Hound, etc. That's why you need to go opposite lane in that matchup. And let's collect our legendary token, guys. So that was pretty good. And let's actually open this. So we hit, yeah, 6,900, so we're 100 away from 7K, which is our goal for this video. And then, yeah, by then we should get a lot of, like, matchups by then, because we still probably have a while longer to go. I might edit out the search times. And we're top 200 now, so let's keep going. And we need 4 more wins from now, and that would be if we get 4 wins in a row, and I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll see. You never know. Alright, so he goes with Fire Spirits at the bridge. So Fire Spirits doesn't really tell me much. It's probably going to be perhaps Xbow Fire Spirits. That's just a guess, though. Like, I'm not sure what really has Fire Spirits on it. Snowball, okay, so now I have no idea what it is. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Okay, he has pumps, so I'm thinking maybe now this is like... Oh, could it be Xbow Pump? Because there's that Xbow Pump Tesla deck, but it usually doesn't have Fire Spirits in it, so that's interesting. So okay, so he has 3M. Okay. 3M, guys, can be a little tricky, especially since I just fireballed his pump. I kind of had to, though, because I was out of cycle of the, Okay, wow, so he has Mini Pekka. Okay, so this is a very interesting deck. Guys, I need to eat a little bit of damage here, so I'm going to play a Mega Minion on one of the Musketeers and then let the other, like, hit the Mega Minion. So not a good start at all. Kind of a strange deck. What I'm going to do, guys, is next time he plays a pump, I'm going to do a prediction. No, I'm actually not. I'm going to play a Miner in the front. And then he just goes with a snowball, and then let's actually fireball it. Guys, it's really important to not let them get a pump down and get value. And also, I was kind of leaking elixir there. That's alright, though, that, you know, he can 3M now, because we got a lot of value in that fireball. He went with a snowball, ice golem, and pump, so we used 10 elixir, and we only spent 7. And that was, I guess, decent value for us. So, when you're playing against 3M, giant in the lane of the 2 Musketeers always. And then play your support cards behind it. Sometimes you can sacrifice a tower. That's more than okay. And look at that Edrag chain. That's going to get a lot of value. He goes in with a miner other lane. We can just defend that with the Mega Minion. And here he might have a hard time stopping this Prince. What we can do is just go in for another Giant. And I think we're going to overwhelm him here, guys, 100%. So he goes in with a defensive miner. He's not going to be able to stop this. He might go with a mini Pekka, though. I'm just going to zap that. And what's he going to do? I think he's going to go in with a miner here. Oh, wow, he didn't. Interesting. Maybe he didn't have it in cycle or something. There's only 16 seconds left, though, and I'm not really sure he can take my tower since he has small spells. Go with a Mega Minion and then a Fireball in case he plays a miner. No, he didn't, so I think he knows he lost. That's going to be a good game. So, guys, that was an excellent game against 3 Musketeers. Kind of an interesting 3 Musketeer variant. But 3 Musketeers isn't that good right now, so probably people are testing, like, 3 Musketeer decks and trying to, like, see if there's any that works in the meta. Because, as you guys know, 3 Musketeers have a 3-second deploy time now, so they're not really the best in the game right now. So, we're 142 right now. Not bad. So, I'll talk a little bit more about that game. So, as I stated in the game, when you're playing 3 Musketeers, it's really important to always giant in the lane of the 2 Musketeers, because typically they play stuff with the 1 Musketeer, and in that situation he had like Ice Golem, Mini Pekka. Usually they have Battle Ram though, but the reason why you always want to giant in the lane of the 2 is because you kind of want to use your giant as like a meat shield to like distract those 2 Musketeers so you can deal with the spam that they place on the side with the 1 Musketeer. Because almost 90% of the time, especially if it's a good 3 Musketeer player, they're not going to play stuff in the lane with 2 Musketeers. They always play stuff in the lane with the 1 Musketeer. And since Giant's 5 Elixir, 2 Musketeers, you know, distracting with the Giant, and sometimes if you time it correctly, 2 Musketeers, like, walk on your side of the map, and then the Giant's distracting it, and then your tower actually kills them, and the Giant, like, basically denies all the damage for you. That's the main reason why you Giant in the same lane. And you do that almost always. The only circumstance where you would go other lane is, let's say you have a lot of damage in maybe the left or right lane or whatever, and they go with 3M and they play 1 Musketeer in the lane that you have that damage. And then what you can do is you can go with Giant at the bridge, Mega Minion stuff, etc., miner the Musketeer, and then you can fireball the 2 Musketeers on the other lane. But it's really situational and based on when they use the pump and stuff, etc. That kind of depends on when you use your miner. So yeah, that's basically how the general idea of playing against 3M, but it's very deck-based and situational-based as well, but almost always you're just, like, playing your Giant in the lane of the 2 Musketeers, and just be really careful, like, when you use your miner. Sometimes if they're using, let's say they're using 3M bait, no one really uses Giant 3M anymore, like the OG 3M deck with Goblin Gang, but if they do that, like, if you know they have Goblin Gang, what you can often do is throw a miner in their pump, and if you know the only thing they have in cycle for the miner is a Goblin Gang, you can, like, prediction zap and then get, like, a lot of value on that. Okay, so he goes with an Ice Spirit. Oof, I wasn't focusing, so we do end up missing the log. Let's go ahead and miner. So Ice Spirit can mean a lot of different things. It can mean, like, 2.9, it can mean 2.6, etc. And in this case, he has a miner, so this could really be, like, a lot of different things. I don't know yet. It might just be, like, a miner cycle deck. Okay, so he has Balloon. We're going to need a Fireball here. I think this might be Balloon Executioner, guys. So this is something we haven't played yet, a matchup we haven't played yet in the video, so I'm happy we're playing something kind of different because this is a Balloon cycle deck. So yeah, I don't know what his, like, air counter is. I'm guessing it's Executioner, though. Valkyrie, yeah, this is looking like Balloon Executioner. Let's just Prince in the back, and then if he goes with an Executioner, you always kind of want to miner it. So there's the Executioner, as I was saying. I had a good feeling that that's what it was. So let's go with a miner on top of that, and then let's go for like a log here, kind of predicting maybe skeletons or something he plays. He didn't play anything though, so now he has the skeletons to defend. But he goes with the snowball, and okay, so that was a good amount of damage for us. We got log chip, we got miner chip, and pretty good start overall as well. And also we have both our air counters in cycle and our fireball, so it's looking really good right now. And when you're versing Loon cycle, it's safe to giant in the back if you have both your air counters in cycle and your fireball in cycle. Otherwise, I would not giant in the back. Like, let's say only my Edrag was in cycle and the fireball and not the Mega Minion, then it wouldn't be. But Mega Minion is like your best counter to the air stuff because it gets the most value. It's 3 elixir and it fully shuts down a balloon. That, like, yeah, that's like the best example of why it's the best air counter. Let's go with, again, like, log here predicting like skeletons, and like again he's being really smart, like he's waiting to use his skeletons. So yeah, I had a feeling he was going to switch lanes, so let's just giant to tank that and then go in with Edrag here, and then we can just fireball the balloon back, also hitting the miner. Okay, so I might need to this might be a game where I kind of need to focus. I can't probably explain stuff too well, but we could always explain after the game if I need to like focus on this one. Yeah, I had a feeling he was going to go in with another balloon push. So as long as that balloon doesn't get 2 hits, what we could probably do is we could go with a giant in front of that. Yeah, so it got 1 hit. Let's giant in front of all that. And then let's go with miner on top of his executioner. And then zap to retarget the executioner onto the miner. So that's, guys, the best thing to do is retargeting it so then your air cards can break through. Unfortunately, though, we're not going to get too much damage with the giant, but let's cycle our Mega Minion in the back here so then he doesn't get any ideas like going in with a balloon or anything, because he wouldn't do that with the Mega Minion down, I don't think. Oh, wow, he actually is going in with a balloon. So let's go ahead and... Actually, let's just giant. If that balloon gets death damage, I think that's okay, because I think we could probably, like, overwhelm him here, possibly. Let's go with a fireball, and if we get, like, a giant hit, one more, maybe. No, we didn't. If we cycle to log, though, we do win the game. Or not a log, excuse me, I meant to say. Fireball. Oh my god, wow, let's actually say a good game. That was that was honestly such a close game. Oh my god, guys, wow. Wow. Okay. Like I said, that was pretty intense, and I was right about it being intense. So I wasn't able to give you guys like a ton of details during the game, but now that it's over, so against Loon Cycle, as I was talking about in the beginning, the main concept of that matchup is in single elixir, it's especially important to make sure you have your air counters in cycle before you giant in the back. Like, do not play any giants in the back unless you have your Mega Minion, Edrag, and preferably your Fireball in cycle, because let's say you giant in the back and then they go in with like a Valkyrie balloon at the bridge. If you don't have a Fireball, if you play like a Mega Minion and an Edrag on it, I think the balloon gets 1 hit, and I honestly think it gets 2 as well. So that's too kind of risky to giant when you don't have that in cycle. And in that matchup anyways, if you look at how cheap his deck is, 3.0, that matchup is better for you anyways in double elixir. So if you feel like you really want to be passive and you don't want to giant until double, or until you're up a lot of elixir, do that if you're more comfortable doing that, because it sometimes can get in, like, you can get in an awkward cycle if you're not careful, because you just really need to be careful, especially on when you use your air counters, the Mega Minion and the Edrag. But also, a lot of you guys know this, but I'll say it anyways, a Fireball can counter a balloon by itself if there's nothing tanking for it. So if you Fireball a balloon and you put it, like, right under the balloon so it, like, propels it back the farthest, the balloon doesn't get a single hit on your tower, it gets death damage. So that's just something to keep in mind, because a Fireball is 4 elixir balloons 5, so sometimes that can be pretty helpful. But yeah, that matchup you can't really outcycle. It's all about overwhelming them. Like he did at the end, if you guys, well, you guys already saw, he went in with a balloon, which was really aggressive because we had a Mega Minion Edrag down, so he played a balloon into that, and then he didn't have enough elixir to defend after doing that. So then we were just able to overwhelm him. But that was a really close game. We're 126 right now. We're working our way up. We're really close to 7K, and if we get like 35 trophies right here, we end up getting 7K, like right off the bat, which would be kind of crazy. So we have a couple things that we haven't played yet, like Golem and Pekka, but any matchup I don't play until reaching to 7K, I'll just like explain you guys exactly what to do in the matchup, because I don't really think you need to see it. Like if I explain exactly what to do, I think you guys can understand. So I might do that if we don't end up versing Pekka or Golem. But honestly, like, Pekka is not that hard of a matchup. Golem, too, they're really not that hard of a matchup. A lot of people say they are, but they're, like, 50-50 if you have Edrag, and if we don't play them, I'll, like, go through the basics of the deck, or I'll look through my battle log, and maybe earlier I played Pekka or Golem, and I'll talk through my decision-making, but yeah, maybe we'll verse it, we'll have to see. Alright. So here we go, we found a game. So our cycle isn't that good. We have Mega Minion 3 spells, or excuse me, Mega Minion Edrag 2 spells. So we could log the cycle until we know what he has. Oh wow, he played Spear Goblins right into the log. Let's Mega Minion in the back. Okay, he has Goblin Gang, so this is looking like most likely it's going to be a Mortar deck. That would be my guess though, it could be anything, you don't really know until you see the whole thing. Okay, so so yeah, this could be like Mortar, this could be Giant Graveyard. Actually guys, like when you're versing a cheap deck, it's fine to like wait and even leak Elixir and force them to play something. So we took a little bit of damage there, which wasn't so good. So yeah, it is Mortar like I thought it was. So we have Fireball. I'm not sure if he's using Minion Horde or Rascals. We'll kind of have to wait and see, but look at that Fireball, guys. Amazing value, and he might have Minion Horde that he plays now since we Fireballed, but if he does, we have Edrag, we have Mega Minion, we have Zap, so we have more than enough things to stop it, and I don't even know if he has a Minion Horde anyways. Some Mortar decks just have Rascals and Bats, Spear Goblins, etc., no Mortar. It depends on if he has a Fireball, so if he has a Fireball, he'll most likely have a Mortar, or a Minion Horde. Guys, I'm sorry. This has just been such a long video, and I missay what I mean sometimes. Hopefully you guys understand. I haven't made a video this long before, and anyways, but yeah, if he has a Fireball, most likely he won't have Minion Horde. So that's what it depends on his spell pretty much. So he's just spent 5 elixir there, so we're up 5 elixir basically. So we went with the Giant in the back, and look at this, he's down so much elixir because he went in with those Rascals. He was down 5 to be precise, so that was really good. And if I had to guess, he doesn't have a Minion Horde most likely because he would have used it by now, but I could be wrong. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to Fireball the Rascals, just because I feel like he doesn't have a Minion Horde. And this is, like I said guys, I forgot if I versed Mortar yet, but if I didn't, that's the exact place you want to play your Giant when you're versing a Mortar deck, like you saw right there, because it doesn't splash on your tower, and it's the farthest away from the Mortar. So it's a lot different than Xbow. Mortar's different than Xbow. Xbow, you want a Giant right on the Xbow, but when you're versing Mortar, you want a Giant right there. That's the exact spot you want a Giant. So then that way it has like the longest time to walk, and then the Mortar's distracted by it for a long time. And at this point, guys, this is looking really good, and in fact, the game looks like it's over. He might have gave up, or wait, no, he didn't give up, but yeah, like, there's not too much he could do to kind of get out of this situation. Like, he's just down so much, and all we need to do is spell cycle. We can actually just, like, log here, take a little bit of damage from those Goblins, and then zap. That actually got a little close. Like, if I lost and choked that, that would have sucked. But anyways, now you guys know, like, the concept of Mortar. Mortar, honestly, is kind of like 2.9. It's generally not that difficult of a matchup, especially if they don't have Minion Horde. I don't even know if that... Okay, he did have Fireball. So, if they have Fireball, that means they don't have Minion Horde. And now look at this, guys. We're 1 game away from 7K, which is awesome. Which will mean, like, we're probably going to wrap up the video at 7K, because I don't want this video to be insanely long. I do want it to be a guide for, like, the matchups. Let me look... through my log here. I just want to see if I versed a Pekka. Okay, guys. Okay, guys, we versed a Pekka deck. So what I'm actually going to do is we beat this Pekka deck. When we hit 7k, I'm going to put a replay on and show you guys what to do when you verse Pekka. Because Pekka is, I always hear when people use my giant Edrag deck, that Pekka's like the hardest matchup, especially Pekka Lightning. So I'm going to give you a really good tip in that matchup when we hit 7k. Let's hope we hit 7k here. And also, let's hope we verse a Golem deck. If we verse Golem right here, that would actually be great, because then I can show you guys how to beat Golem, and then we can get in the Pekka replay, and then we basically have all the matchups that you guys need. Although there is 2.6. If we don't verse that, then I'll also explain 2.6. Although 2.6 isn't really in the meta anymore. People are usually using, like, different kind of hog decks, but I'll still explain it anyways, because I know at like 5k trophies there's probably a lot of people who use 2.6 or 6k, etc. But yeah, like at the top 200 it's not really meta anymore, because I think, yeah, I don't know, people are just using like different hog decks. Okay, so let's focus on this game here. He has a log, skeleton, snowball, so that could mean like a lot of different things. We don't really know what it is yet. Okay, so he has Musketeer. Let's go ahead and fireball the Musketeer. This might be risky to do. I'm afraid he has a Loon Cycle deck. Okay. I think I know what this is, guys. This is Xbow, I'm pretty sure. It's that Xbow Tesla deck, if I had to guess. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to zap the Xbow, and then I think I'm going to miner it as well. I really just want to try to whittle down the Xbow if possible. And yeah, like, see, he has a lot of stuff to block. And there we go, he got down another pump. I'm not sure I want to fireball it or not. I'm thinking about it. I'm glad we versed this deck, guys, because it's very annoying. I know a lot of you hate Xbow Pump. I honestly am not a fan of it myself, because a lot of times it's a draw, so I'm going to try to, like, play my best and show you guys, like, how I would play this matchup. But it generally ends up being a draw, because in, like, lots of cases, and also you can even, like, lose it, too, if you're not careful, and I'm not in a good situation right now, guys, as you can probably tell. We need to, like, log here to hit the Xbow and also hit that Musketeer. So, at this point, guys, we're actually probably going to need to try to tie this matchup. If he goes in with an Xbow right now, then I'm probably going to, like, okay, it's a good thing he didn't do that. So yeah, I'm going to try to do my best to come back, but we're not in, like, that good of a situation at all. I'm actually going to go ahead and fireball the pump now that we're in double. It's pretty safe to do that. And then let's giant in the back, and then if he goes with an Xbow, we can just Prince to, like, tank for it until... Okay, he goes with one other lane, so we could Prince here, and then hopefully that giant ends up distracting the Xbow, so then we don't need to worry about playing something else. We'll see. Yes, it does. So let's go with a miner here, and then a fireball actually on top of that. And now he can pump. Okay, guys, this is, very annoying. Let's log the Musketeers, zap the pump. I'll explain more how to play this matchup after, but honestly, as you guys can tell, this deck is, to be honest, in lots of cases a tie. So if you do end up, like, tying it, I wouldn't really... You know, it's not that big of a deal, because this is just kind of such a, like, defensive deck, and in lots of cases, you don't really... Oh my god, he just missed the snowball, so okay, that was a huge mistake on his end. We might end up winning because of that. So, yeah, he just made a really big mistake. He snowballed and hit, like, nothing or something. Like, I think he missed it, and he went in with another pump, so very interesting. Let's try to rush him here after going in for that pump. He probably doesn't have a lot of elixir. Let's, like, miner here, and then he goes in with the Musketeer. Thinking of what I want to do, maybe we'll just go with a fireball, and then a zap on that Musketeer, and then he goes in with a giant. Is he back to a Tesla yet? Yeah, he is. So we need to log here and do everything we can to, like, whittle down the Xbow. Cycle Mega Mini in the back. Let's get a value fireball on top of that. That's, like, really good value. Fortunately, that Musketeer's there, locked on our tower. He might be in the situation where he could spell cycle. Let me think about this. He needs, like, 4 more logs. Well, actually 2 if he snowballs. Oh my god! Oh my god, guys! Oh my god. We just hit 7K. That... Guys. If that's not a game to get 7K on, then I don't know what is. Oh my god, guys. So... Okay, that game, that deck he's using, that's a lot different than 2.9. So, okay, guys, I need a second. Hold on. We're top 100. Let's go. Okay, guys, this is an excellent way to end, like, our live session. But, guys, oh my god. So, we got 7K top 100 off that game. We won, like, the last few games in a row. Oh my god, guys, that was actually insane. So, that Xbow deck is a lot different than 2.9, like your playstyle against it. It's like you actually, in that matchup, you get more damage with your giants sometimes because you're, in lots of cases, you're like minoring the pump, fireballing the pump, so then that means you have to kind of adjust your playstyle. Like, it's a different Xbow deck. It's not 2.9, so you're not like minor cycling the tower, because if you minor cycle the tower, they'll just like Musketeer, pump, and then be able to Xbow, and the miner doesn't get a lot of value when you miner the tower typically, so you always want to miner the pump Musketeer. Don't just like, I would never miner the tower in that matchup, except if you have their tower kind of low and you're just trying to get damage at the end. But oh my gosh, if that's not a game to get 7K on and end the live pushing, I don't know what is. But we're not done yet, guys, because I didn't explain you guys how to beat Pekka yet, which is what a lot of you say is one of the hardest things to play. So I thought, what better way to do that than show a replay? Well, I thought of that while I was recording right now because I realized it was in my log. So let's go, guys. Pekka Lightning is actually not even, like, I would even say a hard counter in my opinion. I think it's a 50-50 matchup. That's just because I practice the matchup a lot, and if you implement what I do, you probably won't have much of a problem against it either. So let's go ahead and jump into the replay, and I'm kind of going to talk about like my decision making across the game, and there's one thing that can win you the game almost every time, and I'm going to share with you guys what that is. It's kind of a it's probably one of the most helpful hints I could give you guys, or tips to beating this deck. So the first thing I want to say is, if you guys didn't know, you can do the Pekka pull, where you play your miner 3 tiles to the left of the princess tower. So you see the you see the princess, the right princess tower. Let's say there's a Pekka behind the king tower that they play. You can miner it. So 3 tiles. I'll show you guys after this game the exact placement. But anyways, until then, let's just watch this game on 1x speed. So when you're playing against a Pekka deck, the important thing to do is to identify, first of all, what their spell is. And right there, that was extremely easy to do because we saw that he had lightning. So first tip, guys, when you verse Pekka, do not play any giants in the back until double elixir, ideally. But there's some situations where it's okay to do that. And look at right here what he does, which I thought was very, very interesting. He plays a Ram Rider in the back. So I go with the Mega Minion Prince. Now, here's why it was safe to go in with a giant at the bridge. The reason why was because he was down 5 elixir. He basically just wasted 5 elixir because that Ram Rider is going to go right into the Prince and Mega Minion. And now he has 5 less elixir to defend. Look at that. He doesn't even have the elixir to play at Pekka. So I knew that was a perfect time to go in with a giant. Once again, not sure why he did that. So that was probably the main reason why I won this game. And I know this game, I probably made it look kind of easy. But to be honest, like, it is honestly not too hard to beat Pekka. Especially if they make any kind of mistake, you can easily punish them for that. And that was a perfect example of, like, what he did wrong. And, like, I know, yeah, you guys might be thinking, like, oh, you only won because of that mistake. Well, I think in this game that is true, but there's something I want to show you guys that's going to be really, really helpful. and it's coming up very, very shortly. I want to show you guys a lightning block technique. You can do this when you verse RG Lightning. You can do this when you verse Pekka Lightning. You can use this when you verse Golem. This is a tip that'll help you beat all three of those decks that you guys think are like really difficult to beat. I want to pause it right here. Do you see do you see the giant, Edrag, and Prince? Watch carefully what I do here. I'm gonna play the minor in between all three of them. And when he does that, and lightnings, when I do that in lightning, the Edrag stays alive. And guys, that is the technique I use to beat Pekka Lightning, RG Lightning, and Golem Lightning. That's what wins me the game in lots of cases. Now, if you're high up in like the top 200, they can predict your minor prediction. Like you're predicting their lightning, they can predict your prediction. But if you're like not insanely high up, that works every single time. Every single time that'll work for the most part. They're not going to expect that. So that's a really good tip I want to give you guys against Pekka. Now, let me show you guys the exact minor placement when you want to kite a Pekka into the other lane. So, hopefully I have minor. Okay, I do. So, right here is the exact placement you want to play your minor. So, let's say they play a Pekka behind the King Tower. It's walking along here. When the Pekka's about here, when the Pekka's walking and it's about in this area, send your minor there. What that's going to do is that's going to pull the Pekka, it's going to distract it, and it's going to kite the Pekka into the other lane. It's a very helpful tip that you can do in double elixir time to break through Pekka. And now, Golem decks. I'll talk a little bit about that, and then afterwards 2.6, and then we'll wrap up the video, because I think besides that, we basically covered all the other matchups. So, 2.6, guys, is a really tough matchup. I actually wonder if I have it in the battle log. Anything? You can't watch it. I wish Supercell would fix that. So you can watch. Dang it, guys. Okay. So let's talk about Golem and then 2.6. So Golem, as you guys know, is used kind of frequently in the meta right now. But you know the good thing? There isn't much Golem Lightning. And guys, a lot of you don't realize this, but this is because I practice the matchup a lot. Golem Poison, Golem without Lightning, or Golem Clone, anything like that, you actually have matchup against it. There's a couple of key things to beating Golem, and one of them is, if you identify it's a Golem deck, then honestly, if you know they don't have Lightning, just Edrag and Prince on defense, and they can't really break through that defense. And even if they get a lot of damage in, you can just giant in front of your Prince and Edrag, use your spells efficiently. But like honestly, the key to winning Golem is, a lot of people say, do you go opposite lane? Like let's say they Golem in the back, do you go Mega Minion Giant at the bridge other lane? No. If it's not Golem Lightning, you stay same lane. Play Giant in the back, same lane as the Golem. Play an Edrag behind the Giant, Prince like in the corner of the map, and just play defense, Mega Minion on their Baby Dragon, Fireball their Night Witch, log then do that, etc. It depends on the Golem variant. And you basically just counter push off of their push. You don't really go other lane. The only time I would say you should go other lane is like, let's say you have a ton of damage on one of the lanes and they Golem in the back, and you just want to take their tower, and maybe you think that you can defend their Golem. This is why you never go other lane if their tower's at like full health, for example, because if you go other lane and they defend, and like if they Golem in the back, then they're more likely than not, since you just spent all that elixir, they're more likely than not going to take your tower, and then you're going to be in a horrible situation where then you have to like defend their Golem push, and you're not able to you're not able to then come back, because you have to defend their golem, then you don't have the elixir to take their tower that's low, and you just get in an awful situation. So just always like defend, and if they have lightning, do that lightning block technique that I told you guys. That'll work very, very nicely. Even try to like outcycle their lightning might be good, because golem's pretty expensive. So maybe if they like lightning your Edrag that you played a long time ago, you might already be back to one that you can then like just play again. So that's kind of the basics of Golem. It's really not that difficult. I would honestly say all these matchups, guys, just practice like with, maybe you have a friend who's a pretty good Golem player, or just when you verse Golem, like if you lose, just replay it, like see what you could have done differently, because guys, all this stuff will really help you learn how to beat Golem and Pekka, any kind of matchup that you guys find really difficult. Also RG Lightning, the same way, guys. The way I learned the matchup is just like practicing it myself. And guys, RG Lightning, I made a video actually on that. I beat Mikkel, one of the best RG Lightning players in the world, and that was #1 in the world with Giant. That video, I watched a replay, it showed you guys exactly how to beat RG Lightning. So if you're interested to see that I have a great replay, and that's on the top of my home page, if you guys want to see that. The last thing is 2.6. So 2.6, I think a lot of people who lose this matchup play it kind of poorly. Now, it is not a good matchup. I will say that 2.6 is a really tough matchup. If it's a good 2.6 player, you have to really be focusing the whole game. So this might sound crazy to a lot of you guys, but when I play 2.6, if I don't have a Prince in cycle and they play a Hog at the bridge, Fireball log the Hog Rider so it doesn't get a hit. That's really important to do. If they play a Hog Rider, I repeat, this is really important to take away. If they play a Hog Rider at the bridge, Fireball log the Hog Rider if they did it in single elixir. The reason why is because if you don't have a Prince in cycle, you don't want to minor the Hog Rider. You don't want to E-Drag on the Hog Rider. Because if you E-Drag on a Hog, it gets 3 hits. If you minor on a Hog Rider, it gets like, I think it gets 3 hits unless you time it exactly, then it gets 2. It's not worth it. The best thing to do is to Fireball log the Hog Rider if you don't have a Prince in rotation. The next best thing is, let's say you don't have a log in rotation, they go with a Hog Rider. You don't have a Prince in rotation. Minor the Hog Rider, and then Fireball it. I know you're spending 7 elixir. I know what you guys are thinking. Like, why spend 6, 7 elixir on a Hog? It's really important. Because in single elixir, if you lose half your tower or more to the 2.6 player, you are most likely not going to win in breakthrough. The most important thing when beating 2.6 is to try to get out of single elixir with having a good amount of HP on your towers. Maybe try to get them to split the damage. If you have both of your towers on 2/3 of its health, that's good. Because then what you can do is when it's double elixir, Giant in the back. If they Hog Rider, what you do is you just play a Mega Minion on the Hog Rider. Let it get it 2 or 3 swings in. Prince behind the Giant. E-Drag behind the Giant. Now, I have something that's really important. If they pre-plant a cannon, Fireball the cannon. If you can't Fireball both the cannon and the tower, then don't hit the tower. Fireball the cannon. Try to hit both if they played it next to their tower. The reason why is because if they pre-plant a cannon, the Fireball will instantly take it out. So then you can minor the Musketeer, you can end up breaking through, and if they cycle back to another cannon, oftentimes your Giant will be at like half health. So what you can do is you can just play another Giant at the bridge and just eventually overwhelm them in double elixir. But when you're playing 2.6, your game is, your time to break through is basically double. That's going to be your main time to like build pushes and break through, because I can tell you this right now, guys, when you're versing 2.6, you're not going to get any damage at all in single. So don't try to be too aggressive or do anything, because it will not end up working. In single, in some situations, it is okay to use your Giant against 2.6, but it's very situational. The best example is, let's say you end up fireballing, logging a Hog Rider. And they often, after you do that, play a Musketeer. And if they do that, what you want to do is just Giant in the back, same lane as the Musketeer. Time it so then the tower kills the Musketeer and the Giant's like tanking for it. And then just basically, guys, 2.6, your playstyle is very, very different than a lot of different games, and it's more than okay to spend a lot of elixir on a Hog Rider so it doesn't get that hit. Don't do anything crazy though, like for example, don't like play an Edrag on a Hog Rider and then Fireball. Do not do that. Like, then at that point you're just at that point overspending on defense. But fireballing, logging a Hog Rider, that's okay. But don't do anything crazy like don't spend, I guess the general rule is maybe 6 elixir or 7 at most. Don't spend more than that on a hog in the matchup. But just be really careful. Try to not get outcycled. And again, guys, a lot of these matchups that you find difficult, the key is practicing, practicing, practicing. But if you enjoyed this kind of video, maybe I'll do this like later in the season or next season. If you guys enjoyed this like hour-long video of like the deck guide, and I hope like I gave you guys a ton of tips. This is my favorite deck to play. I know really the ins and outs of it. And again, like if you have any questions like on the deck or winning a matchup, I can also answer questions in like the comments below. That would also be like a really good thing too. Like, so if I didn't answer any questions or anything that you guys were wondering in the video, I can answer it in the comments below. But anyways, guys, this was a very long video. I'm probably going to add timestamps, as I said, in the description below. And yeah, if you guys like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and thanks again, guys. Until next time.